One of my favorite professors in college used to say, theater is a revolution. And he would talk about the power of art to transform hearts and minds. And for many of us out there today, we are thinking, what is it that I want to express? There are some people right now that are out there saying, I want to express joy. There are others that are going, I'm scared right now. I'm scared because of the political climate. I'm scared because I have family that are of a different race. Other people are happy about the things that are going on. And it is very important to know where you stand as an artist, because your point of view is what we need to hear as a society. What do I mean? It will not come to a shock to most people that there are certain things that I'm scared of right now. I am very scared of how the LGBTQ community is going to be treated over the next 4 years. I am very scared over a seeming lack of compassion that has become a trademark of people of all stripes. I'm very concerned. It scares me. I feel like at times when I'm seeing things unfold in the news, I'm like, am I watching something from the 30s or 40s? And that fear has the ability to paralyze me. It has the ability for it to go, don't do anything, because if you speak out, if you say anything, you could get hurt. But you see, theater, art, whether it's painting, whether it's music, visual arts, graphic arts, whatever your art is, we change hearts and minds through telling our truths. I recently co-wrote a play called Resurrection X. My mom wrote an original version back in, I think, 1997, 1998, something like that. And I rewrote one draft, and then my mom and I rewrote the subsequent drafts of the play and produced it. And from my perspective, where I was coming from, which was a different perspective than my mom, I was saying, who is the person that I would want to follow? Because the idea of this play is, if a Christ-like figure were to appear today in my city now, what would it be like? Who would be his followers? Who would be those who rejected him? And for me, the truth that I wanted to say with that piece is that at least the Christ that I read about in the Bible loved everyone. He loved poor people. He was all about love. All you need is love. All you need is love. That type of a thing. That is the great love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. And the second commandment is like it: love your neighbor as yourself. All of the commandments are bound in these. And so I wrote the story of a character that was like Christ, that accepted my kind, that loved someone who is LGBTQ, that loved immigrants, that loved people, and at the same time, I also told a story that did not politicize who Christ was, where everyone was both the good guy and the bad guy. And that work was very moving to people in the Christian community, very moving to the people in the LGBTQ community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I took my truth and I made art because that truth needed to be spoken. And the reaction to that from most parties was to become more compassionate, less judgmental. It opened a dialogue, which to me is what arts are really about. And so there may be a lot of us artists out there that are going, are we becoming the next Germany? I know I've had that thought. There may be artists out there saying, will my family protect me in this new society? And what I want to encourage you is that regardless of your fears, we need your art. We need your art to tell your truth. Now, people who are following certain ideologies and things like that, they may say, no, that's not what we mean at all. And they don't see your perspective. They don't see my perspective. They go, oh, you're misinterpreting things, right? But that's exactly why we need your art. We need to shine light on that stuff. We need to go, do you see why we think that? Not just, we believe that this place is becoming a dictatorship, if that's what you believe, right? We believe it's becoming a totalitarian state, if that's what you believe. It's one thing to say it is becoming something. It's something else to say why we think that, what it feels like, bringing people to the place of empathy. Because when we can say, what is this about? Because I imagine that if you were to ask those same people, what is it like to, during the last administration, what was the great fear? And those people might say to you, it felt like it was becoming a totalitarian state against religious people. And see, you can bridge the gap. You can bridge the gap and say, this is what I'm seeing. This is what I'm experiencing. And then another artist who's courageous enough to tell their truth can say, this is what I'm seeing. And then together, you can see their great work and they can see your great work and others can see it and empathy can grow, see? And when empathy grows, we're able to see both perspectives and we're able to go, oh, I see you. And I see you're not the stereotype. I see that not everyone who's conservative is a bigot. right? Which some people think. Not everyone who's conservative is a bigot, right? Um, and on the flip, you know, not not everyone who's liberal is, you know, evil, or not everyone who's liberal um, is wanting to end all religion or anything like that, right? We create empathy through telling our stories. We create truths by telling our stories, and when we tell these stories, or we show these pictures, or we create that music, we give the opportunity to open perspectives and to understanding, to enlightenment, to hope, to truth. So I just want to encourage you to keep making art.